A very good morning to all my students. This is your Srijita ma'am with your English literature class. Hope you are all okay, staying safe at home, right? Now, students, you must have different complaints about me that I cannot take your classes properly. I know, dear, I cannot take your live classes properly on a regular basis, which I used to do before. But in the last tutorial video also I have told you the same reason, since I am suffering from a personal reason, and to tell you frankly that I am suffering from a tough time. It is really a tough time for me. I need to rush to the hospital more or less each and every day for my father who has been hospitalized. um, but keeping in mind you people, so that your class didn't get hampered, I'm trying to take your classes. I'm trying to fix your video clips for your tutorial lectures. I'm trying as it is possible by me whenever I'm getting time, but in this tough time I want your cooperation. If you please cooperate with me, if you understand my situation, I will be very helpful for you from you. um, okay, fine, I should not be discussing about my sorrow, about my grief. Here I want to discuss about your studies, which I should be doing over here. So no more discussions regarding anything. Okay. So before we start today, I want to discuss the last day's homework that was given by Arindam sir in your live class. So the last homeworks that you have got are some mixed sentences to write, isn't it? Students, as I have told you before, that you can make sentences obviously by your own, but you need to frame it grammatically correct, right? But for your help, I'm just discussing or solving the mixed sentences that you have got for your help. Okay. So the first word is cliff, right? You can write a simple sentence like he fell off the edge of the cliff. Can you understand what I'm telling? He fell off, O-double-F. He fell off the edge of the cliff. The next word is giant. You can write this machine can dig giant holes. Giant meaning is huge, you must be knowing. So you can write that this machine can dig giant holes. Okay. The next word is clue. Tom doesn't have a single clue. You can write a simple sentence like Tom doesn't have a single clue. Okay. Now the next word is disappeared. You can write a sentence like the little boy disappeared down the road. So can you understand how simple sentences you can frame? You can write the little boy disappeared down the road. Okay. The next word is the next word is enormous, with which you can frame that she has an enormous capacity for hard work. So enormous means also huge, big. So you can write she has an enormous capacity for hard work. Okay. The next word is rusty. You can write the water pipe is getting rusty. You must be knowing what is rust, what is rusty. So you can write the water pipe is getting rusty. Okay. The next word is excitement. You can write Lucy was unable to hide his excitement. Lucy was unable to hide his excitement. Okay. The next word is trap. He set a trap to catch the animal. So you can write he set a trap to catch the animal. Okay. Now the next word is frightened. You can write I was frightened and confused. You can add a little portion I was frightened and confused at the cinema hall. Or you can write I was frightened and confused at the playground. Okay. The next word is peered. Tom carefully peered inside the box. So, what you can write? Tom carefully peered inside the box. So, can you understand how easy sentences, how simple sentences you can frame by your own? These are very simple sentences. I have not used such complex words for it. These are very simple sentences which you can easily make. So, try to make simple sentences which you can write well. Okay. Now, students, today I will start your sixth lesson. Okay, which is a poem named Underground. You have a poem named Underground in your syllabus. You can find it in your book. It is in page number 39. Students, while I will be teaching this poem, you can take the book with you. You can open the page where the poem is written. You can underline the important lines which you feel like. So you can take pencil also along with you. So let us start. Now students, before I start, I want to ask a few questions to you people. Students, do you know what is there inside the ground? Now by reading or by hearing the name of the poem, you can understand that as the poem's name is Underground, you can well understand that the poem is all about underground things, whatever is there under the ground, inside the ground, isn't it? So I want to ask you that students, do you know what is there inside the ground? No, na? Have you ever seen the place below the ground? Have you ever seen the place that is below the ground? What is there inside the ground? No, isn't it? Have you ever feel for it? Have you ever feel for the underground creatures? No. Have you ever feel for the creatures that is present inside the ground? Have you ever feel for the creatures? There must be some creatures who are present under the ground. Have you ever felt for it? Obviously not. Isn't it? Even I also do not know what is there inside the ground. In order to know what is there inside the ground, in order to feel what is there inside the ground, we need to learn the poem. Okay. This poem which I am going to teach you today is all about the different creatures that is present inside the soil, under the ground. Okay. So the poem which I am going to teach you today, it is all about the different creatures that is present under the soil or under the ground. Okay. Those underground creatures are all natural. Can you imagine? those underground creatures, the creatures that stay inside or under the ground, are all natural, are all real, but we hardly know about it. This is very true, isn't it? There are several creatures under the ground which are natural as well as real, but we hardly know about it. We do not know about it since we do not feel for it. Okay. The poem is written by James Reeves, who was a British writer mainly known for its poetry, plays, and contributions to children's literature. So, the poem is written by a poet whose name is James Reeves, who was a British writer mainly famous for its poetry, plays that he used to write, and contributions to children's literature. Means he has written so many stories for children, for the literature, for the English literature of children. Okay. The poem Underground, as the title suggests, makes the reader explore the world that is below the surface and not actually visible to us. Now, can you understand what I am telling? The poem Underground, as the title is telling us, makes the reader explore. Explore means to find out the world that is below the surface. That is below the surface means that is below the surface of the soil and not actually visible to us. Visible to us means we cannot see what is there inside the earth, what is there inside the soil. It is not visible, right? Throughout the poem, the poet aims to make the readers aware of the natural world that exists under the earth. Now, throughout the poem, the poet aims means the poet's target, the poet's aim, the poet's goal. What was that? To make us understand, to make the readers aware. Reader means who are the readers? We are the readers. We are reading this poem. Okay. So to make the readers aware of the natural world, that exists under the earth. So throughout the poem, the poet tries to explain us about the natural world, the world that is natural, but it is under the ground and it is not visible to us. So we do not know anything about it. Okay. The poem begins by pointing out to the physical features of the underground kingdom. The poem begins by pointing out, by telling us about the different physical features. About the different physical features means about the living creatures that is living under the ground and making the underground kingdom. Kingdom means right? The kingdom remains deprived of light and sound, and there is no greenery in it. Now, can you understand or imagine what I am trying to say? This particular kingdom, which is under the ground, remains deprived of light. Deprived means without of. Okay. It is deprived of light, as there is no light at all under the ground, no sound at all under the ground. So it is fully deprived of or without of light and sound, right? And there is no greenery in it. Also, there is no greenery, there is nothing green under the ground. Okay. The animals mainly found are the rabbit, the mole, and the ants. So, the animals mainly found under the ground are those of rabbits, the mole. Mole, you must be knowing what is mole. I know I must not be telling you people. The mole and the ants. These are the certain creatures who stays underground. Okay, sorry. The poem Underground by James Reeves is a poem on nature. Okay, this particular poem named Underground, which is written by James Reeves, is a poem on nature. It is written about natural things. Okay, but different in the sense that it describes the activities of life below the soil. Okay, though the poet tells us such a poem which is natural. Now, you must be knowing natural means living, right? But it is of different sense as it describes the activities of life below the soil. It is describing what happens of the creatures who stays below the soil. Okay. While the surface is all green with ample light, the underground is dark and devoid of it. Can you understand? The students, till now I am discussing the summary, means what is all about the poem. I have not gone to the text portion yet. I will be going to the text portion either by today or in the next class. But before that, I want to explain the introductory part, which is most important to make you understand what is all about the poem. Okay. So listen. Now, while the surface is all green with ample light, the underground is dark and devoid of it. Now, this I have already told you people. While the surface means while the surface of the earth, the outer portion of the soil, where you can see green fields, okay, is all green. It is all green means it is all filled with grasses, it is all filled with plants and trees, so it is green. Okay, with ample light. With ample light means with enough light, and this light is sunlight. Okay, so it is filled with enough light. The underground is dark and devoid of it, but the underground, the place which is under the soil, it is very much dark and devoid of it means devoid of light, without light. Okay, but that does not mean it is any less lively than the life on the surface. Now, can you understand what the poet is telling? Though this particular underground place is devoid of light, it is dark compared to the surface of the earth, which is green and is filled with light, but that does not mean it does not have any life in it, any life in it. It does not mean it is any less lively than the life on the surface. Means you must be knowing that the earth is very much lively. Why? It is full of life all over. Life means the plants and trees have lives, the animals, the fishes all have lives, we human beings all have lives, the animals have lives, all we have lives, and we are having a lively world. Now the poet is telling, though it seems that the place under the ground doesn't have any light, doesn't or dark in it, dark is, but then also it is very much lively in nature. It also consists of life that is living under the surface of the earth. Okay. It is in fact filled with life, with rabbits and moles hidden in deep underground. So, what it is telling? It is in fact filled with life, means the underground portion is filled with life. It and whose life it is? The lives of rabbits, the lives of moles, the lives of ants, all these creatures, those who stays inside the earth, inside the surface of the earth. Okay. And they are very much hidden in deep underground. They are hiding themselves under the ground. Okay. So, the living creatures like rabbits, moles, ants, as they are very much small enough, as they are very much, you can say, weak enough, hides themselves deep under the ground in order to prevent their lives, in order to save their lives. They hide themselves under the ground. So, all these things are living creatures. They have lives within them, but then also they are inside, they stays inside the earth, which we hardly feel of, isn't it? Like the animals that of the surface hunt and search for food, so do the ants and other life forms search for food. Now, can you understand? Now, students, you must be knowing that even we, the animals, the fishes, every living animals are searching for food each and every day in order to survive, isn't it? The wild animals are hunting other animals in order to feed themselves, isn't it? So, like the animals that are staying off the surface of the earth, that are staying off the surface of the earth means that are staying on the surface of the earth, hunt as well as search for food, right? So do the ants. Like us, like the animals, the ants also do the same thing. They also search for food. The other life that is there inside the soil, they are also busy always in searching for food. But we cannot see. We cannot see, no. We hardly see or notices such things. Though they are living creatures, but they are deprived of everything, the light, the sound that we get generally as we stays on the upper side, on the surface of the earth. But they also have features like us. They also search for food in order to survive, in order to feed themselves, right? Some animals who choose to rest safe and stay safe in the womb of the earth gets disturbed at times by a shovel or spade, finding itself intruding upon their space. Now, can you understand what I am telling? Try to understand. This is a very important portion. There are some animals who choose to rest safely under the ground. There are certain animals who wants to stay safely, or who wants to rest safely under the ground, or who wants to stay safely In the womb of the earth. In the womb of the earth means you must be knowing uh, earth is compared with mother. Students, you are growing up, so you must be knowing the earth is compared with mother, and our nature is mother. So this earth is also the earth is compared as the mother nature. So as mother, as your mother, or all and every mothers of this world are having a womb inside their stomach, which has carried you. When you people are there inside your mother's stomach, has not born yet. So the earth that is there under the ground is compared as a womb of nature mother. Have I made you understand? Have you understood? So there are certain animals who want to choose, or who wants to rest some of the time in the womb of the earth gets disturbed. How? At times by a shovel or spade finding itself intruding upon their space. Now, the students, you must be knowing shovel or spade are the different farming equipments. Shovel or spade you can find in the dictionaries, or you can find out images in the internet also, how a shovel looks like, how a spade looks like. But these are all farming tools which which the farmers generally uses in order to fertilize, or in order to dig the field, in order to dig the field. So what happens, these animals who want to rest themselves under the earth gets disturbed, as sometimes they find certain shovels, certain spades intruding means going through, or you can say penetrating through. Going through means, can you understand, when a person is digging the soil, the farming tools, the tools like shovels, tools like spades, they must be using in order to which they are using in order to dig the soil. That particular tool is going inside or penetrating through the soil. Can you understand? So this particular animals who wants to rest themselves inside the earth gets disturbed when this type of farming tools gets inside the soil in their own space. In their own space means in the space where these animals who stays under the ground stays peacefully. So can you understand? Have I made you understand? There are certain animals who wants to rest their lives, who wants to stays peacefully inside the ground, sometimes gets disturbed by different farming tools. When they feels those farming tools are going inside or disturbing them in their natural lives, in their own space. Now you may tell that the farmers must be digging the field in order to fertilize the field and so on. Yes, every farmers do such things. Every farmers dig the field in order to fertilize the ground, in order to fertilize the field. It is for the agricultural purpose. Yes, they must be doing such thing, but there is a but. What is that? Even the farmers, even we hardly think about the living creatures that is there inside the earth. They are also living like us. By digging the soil, we are disturbing their lifestyle. which we should not be doing, but we are helpless. Have you understood? I hope so. Now, the trees that are so green above the surface are so because of their strong roots, deeply rooted in the underground. Now, can you understand? The trees that are so green that we can see above the surface of the earth. Because of what? Because of which purpose? It is all because they have strong roots that is deeply rooted under the ground. Deeply rooted means that those particular roots have gone very deep inside the ground. So it is for the underground only, which we hardly think about. The trees which we see very much green in color happens because of this reason only, isn't it? Last but not the least, the underground serves not only as the land of the living and land of birth for the number of life forms above the surface, but it also serves as the land of dead. Now, I'm telling, I know that you have not understood what I am telling. It is telling that last but not the least, what is the last thing that we should be knowing about the poem? This particular poem serves not only as the land of the living creatures, not only as the land of the living creatures means not only as the land of the living creatures, those who are staying inside the ground, and not only as the land of the birth for a number of life forms above the surface. Now, can you understand? This particular underground not only serves as the land of living creatures that is staying inside the earth or under the ground, also it serves as the land of birth for a number of living creatures that stays above the surface of the earth. Means it is giving life to trees, it is giving life to plants, it is giving life to agricultural fields upon which we are feeding. So, by somehow, the underground is serving all of us. But then also, it also serves as the land of dead. Why? Why it is dead? As we do not know, we hardly care of what is there inside the earth. We do not want to know what is there inside the earth. The earth, the layer, the soil that is there under the ground is devoid of everything that we get. It is devoid of light, it is devoid of sound, it is devoid of a little care that we generally get. And that is why it is the world of dead. Though it has life, though it serves to give us life, but then also it is called as the land of dead. I think till this much I am clear, right? But the poem explores and describes the various things that lie below the surface of the earth and shows us a world which is very dark but also very busy and lively. Can you understand, students? Though the poem explores, the poem tells us and describes the various things that lie below the surface of the earth, that lie below the surface of the earth under the ground, and shows us that there is a world, there is a different world which is very dark but also very busy and lively like our world. It is very busy. Why? It is very busy in searching food, and it is also lively in nature as it has life in it. Okay. So students, today I have taught you only the introductory part of the poem. I am not going further. I will be explaining the full poem in the next class, in the next tutorial video, definitely. But I want to discuss the introductory part in a better way with you people so that you can understand. Now, what you will do is at home, you read the poem, you go through the poem. I think each and every one of you can understand the poem by your own. Okay, so try for it. Thank you, class.